Good morning, Softball America. Hello, welcome. We are back. It is Monday, March 17th. Softball continues to go ham, and we love it. We're so excited that you're all here. I'm Gray Robertson. That is the wonderful, delightful Tara Henry, sporting a little attire. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning. Yeah, we got some new sweatshirts and should be available shortly, but this is super, super cozy, and it's got a big Softball America on the back. So pretty cool stuff. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So happy you all are all here. Chat's already rolling. Good morning. Oh, hi, Amanda. Good morning.
Oh, Amanda.
Yeah.
I'm going to flash it. Tara, I love your glasses.
Thanks.
I almost wore mine today in solidarity for glasses.
Yeah. They allow me to see everybody.
Sometimes important, especially when you're watching softball. We got a great show coming up. We're going to do all the usual stuff. We're going to talk about everything that happened this weekend. Lots of sweeps all over the place. We're going to look at that, maybe discuss why that was the case. We're going to answer some top 25 questions that come in. We're going to cover what's to come this week. And I've got something that I wanted to say to all of our softball fans out there. Tara, I know that you also want to remind everybody to subscribe.
Yeah. Head on over to the site on3.com/softball and take a look at all the great content that is up on the site. And then if you're on YouTube, please subscribe there and make sure that you're following us over there on YouTube. I see so many comments on YouTube. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, that's right. I didn't wear green. No.
Yeah, no, I have a green cup. So happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. But yes, please head on over to the site and subscribe and comment all morning long, because that's the best part about this, is that we're building an incredible community where hopefully you all can jump on and ask questions and be a part of it and have some coffee. So, yeah.
I'm going to use a green pencil. Does that count? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, real quick, I wanted to send a shout out to all of our listeners across the South. I know that this weekend was really hard weather-wise. Our friends in Oklahoma dealing with the fires, tornadoes in Missouri, Arkansas, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. There was a lot of severe weather this weekend. It was a scary situation for a lot of people. A lot of us got lucky, and many of us unfortunately didn't. So hopefully everybody out there who's tuning in who is affected by all the weather, everything is okay. We're with you, and we hope that your situation gets better as time moves on, because that was it was kind of a stressful weekend in that regard, Tara.
Absolutely, Gray, and really well said. And I know there was some times where we were talking back and forth and there was a few close calls on your end. But again, like you said, there weren't people that were as fortunate. So just our hearts go out to those impacted. And if we can help by any means, please let us know. And hopefully this show brightens your day this morning.
Absolutely, because we're going to get right into it. Here we go. All right, so we've seen, we posted, we're going to tell you right now, our guest today is the head coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Samantha RIcketts, and she is ready to roll. She is in the waiting room right now, so I am pleased to bring on the former Oklahoma Sooner as a player and a grad assistant, the head coach for Mississippi State for the last 6 years, and Out of the Box podcast listener, Samantha RIcketts. Hi, Coach. Good to see you.
Good to see y'all. Thanks for having me this morning.
Oh, my goodness. What a weekend. First and foremost, how proud of you are you of these dogs?
Oh, man, I'm just so proud of them. I mean, it's always a tough weekend. We talk about it before every SEC series. It feels like a super regional, especially on the road. And it was one of the things we talked about, how hard it is to go into Alabama and play at Rhodes Stadium. And just proud of them for going out, being gritty, and finding ways to fight back. I think we're down in, maybe 2 of the games. Gray probably knows better, but it just seems like you get locked into inning by inning. But, you can't take anything for granted. And I loved the fight. I loved the competitiveness that they had and just the gritty approach that we really showed all weekend long.
I love that you use the word gritty, because you say that and I immediately think of Raylan Chafin. And, her story, we talked about it on the TV broadcast all weekend. I know it's been publicized on all the broadcasts that your team has been a part of. But from what she's been through in the offseason to what she's doing on the field, even this weekend, 13 innings, 2 complete game victories, 11 strikeouts, 15 walks, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, was excellent in the big situations. I think in the 2 games she started, Alabama was 2 for 24 with runners on base. What has made her kind of blossom into this pitcher that relishes the hard and has really utilized so many of her weapons in the circle?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with perspective. She entered the transfer portal looking for a fresh start. And on top of that, going through her cancer diagnosis early on in the fall after her first week with us, I think it just really kind of gave her a new outlook of, hey, I get to play softball. This is not something I have to do. This is something that you never know when your last game might be. And this, particularly for a senior who's been through some real life scary situations, I think she's just found kind of that confidence, the poise, and that on top of a pitching coach like Taryn Mowat-McKinney. I mean, just the mindset and the mentality has just gotten stronger and stronger. And I think they work so well together. And for everything she's been through, she's just had the most positive outlook. She's a competitor and she's just really strong in her faith, and she knows where she comes from. And I think that's a huge part of it. She's not putting everything in one basket. She's not defining herself as, I'm only a softball player. She's Raylan Chafin, the person who also happens to play softball, which is huge.
I love that. And I think when you talk about that mentality, that grittiness, I know Taryn brings that obviously to your pitchers in the circle. I got to actually play with Taryn. She is a bulldog through and through. So I see that. But when you look at, for me, I want to know about the evolution of Sierra Sacco as well. And I think there's a lot of, slappers out there that want to be power hitters or are training to be power hitters, and Sierra can do it all, obviously, but has really seen an uptick this year at standing in and hitting away. For you in the cage with her, what did that process look like? Because I'm super interested in it and how that evolution came about.
Yeah, she's just such an athlete, and she has so many tools, and she'd swung away before, but I think really it was just the confidence was kind of the missing piece in that, and put in a ton of extra work with Coach Zach Shaw, particularly on standing in. And, she really prides herself on being self-made, like just her recruiting story and how she got to where she is now. Like she's kind of did it all by herself. She was one that was overlooked a lot of times and, didn't have the big offers out of high school. And it's just very much a proving other people wrong type of mentality. And I think that's what she's done her whole way to get her to where she's at. And the confidence with the ability to stand in and swing away, I mean, it just makes her, I think, a complete player. And, we talked about it, and I mentioned it to Gray, like she really just has a professional approach. She looks like a pro hitter in the box, and the way she thinks and goes about her process and her at-bats and her training. It's just been so impressive to be able to watch that the last few years and how she continues to evolve.
I think, again, it's very, very important that right now we truly start the campaign for SEC Player of the Year because the stats are astronomical. Now, after Sunday, the OBP is over 700. So when I mentioned that to you, it was a little ahead of the curve. But it really is impressive what she's doing. And we were talking up in the booth during the game, and we were discussing kind of a similarities to somebody like Skylar Wallace, who it feels like can get to any pitch, can make any adjustment. And in particular, it seems like her in-at-bat adjustments are really strong. How has that piece come along throughout this year and since last season?
I think just a lot of observations, and she's not afraid to ask questions, whether it's to the coaches, the pitchers, her fellow hitters, and like, hey, what was that pitch? Or, where do you think they're going to try and get me out on next? And she's just always thinking a couple pitches ahead and able to make that adjustment. And she has a plan going into the at-bat, and she's not afraid to change it once she starts seeing how she might be pitched. And I think a huge part of it too is she's willing to take the walk, and she's not going to give in to swing outside of her zone or her plan. And it makes her even tougher because you have to bring something over the plate for her because she's not going to chase anything off the plate.
And Coach Ricketts, we know you're on a little bit of a time crunch, but I want to give a shout out to your content team. I look forward to those videos every week. This one made me extra chuckle. And we've talked about a few stars, but I want to know from you, what is so different about this squad this year compared to the past Bulldog squads? Might not have the number one stars that we talked about, but we just talked about too. But what makes this team so great and so different?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I appreciate y'all being great sports about it. And for us, it's just really, trying to change the narrative about kind of what Mississippi State has been, because it's true. We'd never won a series going into Rhodes House, and this team was bound and determined to change that. And just knowing that, I think the biggest thing I've noticed is they're a lot more the competitiveness and how serious they take every training session and practice. It just kind of, it's the whole team now. It's not a couple. And it starts at the top with Sierra Sacco. But a lot of players have that same mentality, and I think they bring each other along. And for us, it's, for myself as a coach and for the team, it's about raising the standard of this program and taking it somewhere it hasn't been before. That's been the goal all along for every player that's been through here, whether it's the super regional run, most ever wins in the current format of the SEC softball like we did last year, or going in and winning in a very tough environment. And it was something we talked about before the weekend, knowing what the crowd was going to be like, how that can influence maybe calls on the field, and so what, finding a way to win anyway. And I think they just really gravitated toward that message. And, it's how I was as a player and a coach my whole career too. It's, hey, chip on your shoulder, prove people wrong, win anyway. And I think that just, they really kind of gravitated towards that.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, because unfortunately we didn't really get a ton of time to talk about it on Sunday. The road trip coming up to Northwestern, do you have the cold weather clothing ready? Like, are you having to dig into the back closet? How excited are you for this trip and the possible snow day?
The weather shifted a little bit, and now it looks like it's going to be in the 50s in Chicago when we go up there. So now I can tell my ops, I told you so, because she kept thinking we were not going to get to play. But we're excited to go up to Big Ten country, and it's not something we get to do often, and it just really worked out well, hopefully now with the weather, with where our bye weekend fell. Have a lot of players from the Midwest and up north, so excited to kind of take them closer to their hometowns. And playing a tough Northwestern squad. I know Michelle Gascoigne, I've known her for a long time, so it's going to be fun to see her and her team and get to show them a city that a lot of them haven't been to before. But we're excited. We got our cold gear. We're prepared after, a couple cold weekends in February and that Huntsville trip, because that was cold.
Oh, yeah.
We'll charge all the hand warmers and we'll be ready to go.
The last one from me. I got one more. Sorry, I forgot.
Go for it.
I heard from a little birdie that you're now wearing hats in the dugout. Because you were typically a visor person. So when did the hat come into this, and why? Because
I didn't know the hat was going to be
noticed
that
hat.
deal, but it actually started the military appreciation game. Coach T got me a camo M over S hat that she was wearing so we could all match. And I'm pretty sure every player on the team went out of their way to tell me how much better I looked in hats than visors. I'm like, either the visor is awful or y'all just really love the hats. And they're like, no, you just look younger. I said, all right, well, I guess we're going to stick with it.
I love it.
Whatever works.
Whatever works at this point.
Well, if I may, I will try and provide a little extra motivation for the team this weekend. Mississippi State has never beaten Northwestern because they've never played. Never played. So never beaten Northwestern. Clip it, Brian.
There we go. I think what we're doing, what y'all do to grow the game with the pro game, college, the fall, the summer leagues. And it's like you said, Tara, like anybody talking about softball is good publicity. And I think we feel the same way. So appreciate that. And yeah, we're a little chip on our shoulder. So anything we can use for a little extra motivation, we're going to do it.
I got you, Coach. Just say the word.
Anytime.
Love it.
That is Mississippi State head coach Samantha RIcketts. Coach, thank you so much for chatting with me again. I feel like we've seen each other a lot the last 4 days. Best of luck the rest of the season and this weekend up in Chicago. I hope the weather stays good for y'all.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
Oh, awesome.
Mississippi State head coach Samantha RIcketts.
So good. Oh,
never beaten Northwestern. They've never played, but never beaten Northwestern. Clip it, Brian. I got your back, pal.
Oh man, I love it when people clip our shows because then just more people go to watch it on YouTube. So I hope everybody just starts clipping things. I love it. Gosh, and please, great. How great was that video? I know it's your voice, but like still those videos, like, oh, I'm a big fan.
My voice appeared in a lot of videos this weekend. Shout out to the Florida-Texas preview as well.
Yeah, I love it. Well, let's get into it.
Who knew that clip would make an appearance?
Yeah, I know the chat's kind of quieted down for Coach Ricketts' interview, which is like, that was so respectful. They must be listening. So again, chat is open and we can see you all. So just let us know where you're tuning in from.
Yeah, let's flash some chats and then dive into everything that happened this weekend.
Oof.
Because there was a lot. Let's see. Tommy. My okay. Hi. Good morning. Cheyenne.
Morning, Tommy.
Cheyenne. Good morning. Oh, good morning. I clicked the wrong one, but good morning to Fang as well. Good morning, Tara and Gray. Let's see. Annie.
Morning, Jen.
Good morning, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Annie. Oh, happy birthday. Oh, my goodness. What a great birthday.
Here is Seth. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Seth. He's joining us today.
He's here.
I love it. Oh, this is incredible.
Sin. Morning, everyone. Where's Yannette? That's weird. I thought she would have popped in by now. Okay.
Oh, man.
All right, let's dive
Here we go.
into Texas and Oklahoma. We're going to start there.
Oh, my goodness. Let's go.
All right. So Texas wins the first two against Florida, doubleheader on Saturday. That was a bit. We had the screen on. Let me tell you, we were sheltering at a location on the campus of the University of Alabama, but we were sheltering in a location that allowed us to have multiple laptops and TVs. So we watched the entirety of Oklahoma, Arkansas on Saturday, the entirety of Texas, Florida on Saturday. And then Oklahoma backed it up with the win yesterday, 10-7 against the Hogs. So Tara, I'll give you dibs. Which series do you want to go at first?
Well, let's do Texas, Florida, because obviously that's where I was. I drove down to Gainesville and doubleheader, which was interesting. Obviously, the weather on Sunday was the reason for moving the Sunday game. So a doubleheader on Saturday, which I do think favored Texas because I was really impressed with Texas's pitching staff. Tegan Gavon got 2 wins on the day, and we're seeing a little theme, and I'll go into this. We're seeing a lot of the aces coming in to finish ball games across the country. And I'll go into that in a little bit. But what I think was really interesting is the pitching staff limited Taylor Shoemaker, who had been hitting the ball out of the yard, to she was 1 for 4 and 1 for 4, and then no home runs for Florida. So I was really impressed with that. Mia Scott, incredible. Go ahead and flash that up.
What? My gosh. Brandon, forward super chat for Gray's next challenge.
Yeah, so for those of you that didn't watch the dirt last week, we challenged Gray. We just needed 5 super chats, and Gray would do the dirt live from Olive Garden because he's never been to Olive Garden on Wednesday. So that's where these super chats are coming from. So,
and just a programming note, I'm going to do my best to make that happen this week. However, I will point out that is right after Alabama, Florida State, a game I will be calling, and we do leave for College Station the next morning at 7 a.m. So I might have to bump it. We'll see. Depends on what time the game Wednesday ends. But yes, I will be going live from Olive Garden in the very near future on the dirt. Thanks to all of you people out there. Good work.
So back to Texas. And really was I just was really impressed by the Longhorns. I think they're a complete ball club. Sit Lally had some trouble in that first inning. But again, Mac Morgan, I don't think we talk about Mac Morgan enough, and I know her numbers weren't great to really begin the season, but she's a dog. And she comes in and throws that heavy down ball and just keeps the ball in the yard. And I thought she did a really nice job on that Saturday, and just really, really impressed with Texas. Anything you want to add, Greg? Because I know that you watched the game.
I just thought Texas.
Katie Simmons almost hit 3 home runs back-to-back innings. That was crazy.
If not for Kendra Falvey
again
doing her thing, what in the world?
I know. I mean, 5th, 6th, and 7th inning, Katie Simmons. Like back-to-back bombs in the 5th and 6th. And then Falvey comes like, nah, we're not letting this happen. She jumped like 20 feet in the air. I
mean, my favorite part of the highlight is right before Beth Mowens calls the catch. You hear Michelle Smith go, "Oh, look." Hey, Smitty. Hope you're out there. We love you. Yeah. All right. So I was really impressed by the way Texas fairly quickly adjusted to Florida pitching. And no Rothrock there. So obviously that was significant, and I would have loved to have seen how the matchup went. But it's not like Oxley and Brown and Miller, like they're not bad. Steph has done a really good job with them. Kara Hammock, that was probably her weakest performance in a month. And a big reason why was because of just the constant pressure. When you play a lineup like Texas or like an Oklahoma that we'll talk about in just a minute, you have to be so sharp. But if you try to be perfect, you're going to mess up. You're going to throw it over the middle. You're going to walk people. And that's where great lineups can take advantage. So it's almost like it's almost the mental aspect of the constant pressure that lineup forces. I thought Texas did a great job utilizing that, kind of forcing Florida's pitchers into uncomfortable situations. Mac Morgan looked really good. Citlali Gutierrez had kind of a tough moment. I'm very intrigued to watch the game tonight and see how both teams utilize that Sunday to reset. And will we see Rothrock? I've seen a little buzz that maybe there's a shot she'll pitch tonight, but if she does, she won't be at 100%. So is it worth it? I don't know. That's a question for Tim Walton and Stephanie Van Brakel Prothrow. But I was quite impressed with what Texas did because, you know, we talked about it last week. What Florida did without Rothrock at A&M was really darn good, and Texas took that and threw it in the dirt. And I was quite blown away by the Longhorns this weekend.
Agree. And tonight it's on. Obviously tonight, Mic'd Up Monday, so Tim Walton will be mic'd up for all of you to watch this evening. So yeah, again. I hope Keegan Rothrock is healthy. I hope she comes back for that squad for her. And it'll be interesting if we do see her in the circle tonight, if those whispers are indeed true.
Real quick. Fang, I'm leaving on vacation tomorrow. Let this count towards Gray singing the Boomer Sooner challenge.
Yeah, that's the next challenge.
I have a thing with Nicole.
Gray has to sing Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner. Hey, let's go into Oklahoma. Oklahoma played this weekend, Gray.
Oh my gosh. Look at that transition. Tara, you're a pro.
Thanks.
Oklahoma swept at Arkansas and kind of did it in different ways. You know, game one was really tight. It was 1-0 going into the 7th inning. But both pitchers, Robin Herron and Sam Landry, were kind of cooking. And Sam Landry showed a lot this weekend. I was really, really impressed by what I saw. They had to use her probably a little more than they wanted to. Audrey Lowry was not available. Doesn't sound like it's anything long-term. But Landry was great in game one. Game two, Oklahoma had to come back late. Arkansas had a lead. I believe it was the top of the 6th when OU was able to strike back. And unless I missed one, I think that's the first time this year OU has trailed after 5 innings this year. But it didn't faze them. And then game 3 just turned into a power barrage. I mean, I unfortunately, for my out of the box bet with Tom, overshot on the total home runs in the series. But game 3 almost got me there because both teams were just swinging away, and the Sooners won 10-7.
Yeah, and when we talk about Sam Landry, it was good to see her back in the circle for the Sooners, and I think she's going to be huge for them. I think her demeanor, the way she carries herself, I think that's going to be really, really important for that pitching staff. And we saw, a number of pitchers enter the circle. But again, we're going to see this theme, Gray, and you're going to hear me say this throughout the whole podcast. Landry had to come in, right? She had to come in that 3rd game, just like Kavan had to come in. Mm-hmm. And I've got a few more that we're going to get into, but can't say enough about Gabby Garcia. Whoo, my goodness. Like, to have Gabby Garcia for the next 4 years, that is going to be a treat for the Sooners and Nelly McEnroe Marinas as well. Are they on a 26-game win streak, Gray? Is it 26?
Well, they're 26-0, so yes, I think so.
Just letting everybody know. We know they are. Got it.
Okay. I mean, I guess technically the win streak would be much longer breaking into last season, but I don't have that in front of me.
A couple days. A couple games.
Yeah.
But, just, again, going to have to figure out ways to win. But when you've got an offense like that, yes, I see what you all are saying. But want to give a shout out to Robin Herron, obviously keeping that game really, really close. 1-0 ball game for 6 innings. The 8 walks are going to hurt you. And leadoff walks are always going to hurt you. There we go. I knew they were going to. I knew it was going to come into that chat.
As soon as we said it.
I was just waiting. Go ahead. 29 and counting. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we know. Thanks, guys. It's so funny to me. From an Arkansas standpoint, I was a little disappointed in their lack of adjustments, if I'm being honest. And I don't want this to sound like I'm taking credit away from Sam Landry, but they did see her 3 times over the weekend. In game 3, they looked almost like lost. I mean, I felt like Arkansas were starting to gather evidence that against ranked teams, they have had trouble being consistent offensively. So it's going to be interesting to watch the Hogs moving forward. This weekend they go to Tennessee, so they're going to see Carlin Pickens. They've got to go back to the drawing board and kind of reevaluate the plan, because I didn't see an offense that made many adjustments this weekend against specifically the pitcher that they saw the most.
Yeah, but I mean, did we talk about Bree Ellis and Courtney Day? I feel like, Bree Ellis is putting together a pretty nice resume. And I do agree with you, Gray. But when you take a look at Sam Landry and what she's able to do, I think when Sam's on, it's going to be difficult to get into her. And I do agree that adjustments need to be made. But at the end of the day, the Sooners come out with 3 wins and a lot closer games that we're used to, but it's still a sweep on the road. So, Arkansas gonna have to go back to the drawing board. But again, a tough weekend to lose all 3 at home.
We could possibly, depending on what happens tonight in Texas, Florida, have 3 road SEC sweeps. That does not happen very often. That might be the first time in the 7 years we've done Out of the Box that's ever happened. At least 3 road SEC sweeps. That is very rare.
I love how these OU fans are agreeing with what we kind of said last week in the chat.
Amanda, great point from the All-American and ESPN analyst. The OU defense was incredible. They wiped out some runs this weekend. In particular, Gabby Garcia at short. We talked about her bat. She made some plays up the middle that, hello.
So athletic. I agree, Amanda. So fast. So fast, you guys. I love that.
Amanda, if you want to come on right now, I'll just send you the link.
Send it over to her.
I'm down. I'm just going to text her the link real quick. All right, but before I do that, let's talk about all the sweeps. I just mentioned road sweeps, kind of rare in the SEC. We got a lot of them this weekend. There were a lot of sweeps, period. Here were some of them. I hope I didn't miss any. LSU sweeping Kentucky, A&M sweeping Auburn, Arizona sweeping Utah, UCLA sweeping Purdue, Tennessee sweeping UConn, FSU sweeping Pitt, Texas Tech sweeping Baylor, Virginia Tech sweeping Louisville.
Oh, yeah, I have notes on all these. Do you want to go through any of those?
Well, I'll just say this. One, a lot of these were the favorite getting the sweep. In fact, all of them were the favorite getting the sweep over the underdog. That tells me, and when we get to bracket time, we're seeing a lot of teams truly take care of business. Last year we saw a lot of these type situations where one of these teams might randomly drop game 2 or something like that. That was not the case this weekend. So a lot of teams did a really good job taking care of business, doing what they were supposed to do, and not getting that hole in the resume that might come into effect in a few months. But it was a lot of sweeps, Tara, and that really struck me. That's not something we see a lot.
Yeah, LSU sweep of Kentucky. Macy Bergeron and Tori Edwards had a great weekend. But again, Bergeron had to come in. So there's a theme here. I've got a couple of these aces having to come in and close out ball games, which I'm not against. Obviously, a win is a win. A sweep is huge. Getting wins against top RPI teams is going to help you out. So Bergeron coming in, Landry coming in, Kavan coming in, and Pickens coming in for these sweeps. So you're seeing the aces throw complete games, and then you're also seeing them being put in the late innings to make sure they shut down opposing offenses. And I think that we're seeing that across the country a lot, and something that I'm tracking. But obviously LSU, A&M, Emily Kennedy, one-hit shutout. Again, another sweep on the road. Super efficient, 96 pitches and a 62.5% strike rate. So that's a good sign for the Aggies. and McBarbara getting going as well. And then Amari Harper. Well, she had a 2,400 OPS, Gray, on the weekend.
Is that good?
Yeah. I have an exclamation. Two exclamations.
Two exclamations? The emoji or just like regular font?
No, my writing. It's my notes.
Okay.
My writing. So, yeah. That's insane. Oh, and congratulations to Trisha Ford, 500th win, career win, this past weekend. So, yeah, just really, really impressed. Any of those one you want to go into?
Well, I mean, it wasn't all smooth sailing. All these teams did get pushed in at least one of the games, but they found ways to win, which was impressive. Tennessee had that extra inning game against UConn. They were trailing going into the bottom of the 7th. UCLA Sunday got weird against Purdue. Virginia Tech had a couple weird moments. Florida State, they were trailing 1-0 for a while against Pitt in game 3, the second game of their Saturday doubleheader. So, when I was talking about taking care of business, that's kind of what I mean. Like, even in the games that got tight, that maybe in past years we've seen the underdog find a way to win, that wasn't happening this weekend. That's a lot of credit to the coaches for knowing when to make those pitching moves. Because you're right, Tara, we did see a lot of aces come in to close out games, but in most cases it worked. Pretty much all these cases, it worked. So that stuck out to me. As for the teams that lost, nothing really changes for me for many of them. I felt like Kentucky was going to have a tough time in Baton Rouge regardless. Yeah. I think my concern level for Auburn has gone up quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. That's 7 games now they've lost in a row. The midweek was brutal against Georgia Tech. Very, very tough. Great win by the Yellow Jackets on the Grace Conley 2-run homer to walk it off. But otherwise, it was interesting. I mean, we've done this for a while, and this just felt like an inordinately high amount of sweeps on the weekend.
Brady's cracking me up. UCLA, Purdue. I don't know. Yeah. Hey. Hi, Brady. Good morning. UCLA, Purdue. A couple scares. 6-0, 2-1, 7-5. Shout out to Kendall Bailey with Purdue. But Woolery, Grant, Pola with home runs getting it done. Woolery, again, getting it done over there. Tinsley, Fisher, Terry. But impressed with Kanaya Bragg stepping in there at shortstop for the Bruins. So, again, something to keep an eye on, obviously, with Alina Garcia's season-ending injury. Again, Bruins there. And for me, taking a look at Tennessee, Pickens having to come in, but Kinsey Fiedler with the home run. She was a Fiedler. Yeah. I've asked Fiedler. Kinsey Fiedler.
I got you. It's okay.
Thank you. 7 for 11, a double, home run, and 6 RBIs.
She was awesome. I'm going to flash a question for you before we go to the last major series topic we're going to talk about. This is from Xavier. In softball, who does a doubleheader benefit most? The home team or the visitor, the favorite or the underdog? What say you?
I think it obviously favors the home team. You want to be a home team. I think it favors the favorite. And it thinks that he favors anybody that has a larger pitching staff. So you have more available arms on that day. But I think that's why I was intrigued by this Florida-Texas matchup doubleheader. And I think we're seeing a ton of these doubleheaders because of weather. And it's really a chess match and teams having to figure out how they're going to manage a pitching staff and the strategy behind it. And I think that's what's so interesting to see how coaches manage different pitching staffs. And when you talk about managing pitching staffs, I think Lonnie Alameda is one that does the pitch by committee more than anybody else across the country. You had, through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 arms throw on the weekend. And I think she does the pitch by committee the best out of anyone across the nation.
Brandon, for Tara, that's the message. The people love you, Tara.
That's so nice. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Wait until we talk about the top 25. We'll see if that changes.
Oh, I can't wait.
But we have one more because Nicholas.
Okay, what? Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
No, I mean, I have notes on All
Oh,
of
well,
our
if you, I can, Nicholas, I can take away your teas. And anything else you want to say about the sweeps?
no, we're good.
We're good? Okay. Then
Virginia
back to
Tech over
Nicholas.
Louisville. We didn't even go over that. Did we talk about Virginia Tech?
We didn't. Go.
Just Corey McMillan, Michelle Chatfield. Chatfield with 633 on the weekend, 4 home runs and 7 RBIs. Just wanted to give her a shout out. And Miles is now chewing on a bone. So sorry, everybody.
Emma Limley, excellent again. That offense is popping.
Yeah.
And that typically, I mean, those have been series that have given like ACC contenders trouble. You know, a Louisville who's kind of like 4 through 7 in the conference, right? So to get a sweep in that matchup is really impressive. Shout out to Pete DeMore, my guy. Hey, Pete, if you're out there.
Yeah, big fan of Pete. I think does a nice job over there.
All right, Nicholas, thoughts on Nebraska versus Ohio State? Well, Nicholas, this happened to be next on the rundown. Tara, lots of scoring, 16 combined home runs in an Ohio State 2-1 series victory. Tough weekend for Jordy Ball in the circle. Tough weekend for everyone in the circle. And Ohio State just blasted their way to a home series win against the Huskers.
How about Kieran Kumar in her first season at Ohio State? I know we're talking a lot about South Carolina and what, Ashley Chastain Woodard has done there. I think also we got to give some props to Kieran Kumar in her first season at Ohio State. Her ability to develop talent and develop hitters is really, really impressive. We saw it at Miami, Ohio, and now we're seeing it again at Ohio State. And I just can't say enough about her ability to get there in the trenches and develop her hitters. Bono's up to number 20, up to 2 in the ACC. Oh, he's on power rankings. Sorry.
He's talking Virginia Tech, I believe.
Good. Great. But yeah, this is one of those bumps in the road for Nebraska where you're thinking, how are they going to respond to this? Is it, they're going to come back stronger? Is Jordy Ball and company going to be able to weather this storm? And I think that's what's so great about softball season is we see teams go through ebbs and flows. And for me, how they respond is going to be the most important. And, we talk a lot about this. Softball is a game of failure. And for some of the fans that tend to be keyboard warriors, I just want you to think about it sometimes. If you failed 7 times at your job and succeeded on 3 projects, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to feel about that? I want to put that into perspective because I know we sit here and we talk about programs and we talk about, different athletes, but at the end of the day, there's so much respect for those that are actually in the arena. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that's really, really important because it takes a lot to number one, be a player, to be a coach, to be a part of a program. And there's a lot of people that are in arenas. And I just want to give them a shout out because some of them are going through some rough bouts. But again, it's why we play the game. And I have so much respect for athletes across the country. So I didn't know I was going to come to that right now, but sorry, go back to Nebraska, Ohio State. Great.
No, I'm glad you did. And let me remind everyone that we have a great segment called Off the Wall on the Out of the Box podcast where we decide to say some things back to the people that say those things about the athletes and programs. And so that'll be coming out Wednesday morning with Haley McClenny on the show. Nebraska, Ohio State. This was a blast, literally and figuratively. I continue to be impressed by what we've seen from the Ohio State lineup. And it's not like quarter cracks, right? Is the name that we have thought of the last few years when we talk about Ohio State. But now we've seen a Reagan Milliken, FGCL, really pop up. We've seen Hadley Parisian make some plays in the field. We've seen kind of everybody get involved. And Lauren Burns, another great one. Jaden Burns, excuse me, not Lauren Burns, Lauren Boutte, Jaden Burns. But we've seen the Ohio State offense be really, really well-rounded, and they were getting to every Nebraska pitcher that they saw. And Nebraska was answering back, but I I felt that the way that they adjusted Ohio State quickly to each Nebraska pitcher really showed me a lot. And especially, we also didn't even talk about last Monday, they were right there with Texas. That was a 4-2 ball game. That was a tight game at the very end. Ohio State is a contender to win the Big Ten. And I need to look and see if they play UCLA this year because I don't have that in front of me. But Ohio State, they've been one of the more pleasant surprises here this year because sometimes it does take a minute for the new regime to really turn things around. And it has not taken much time at all.
I don't know if you're watching what's happening in the chat over here, but Brady is saying the RPI is clickbait.
Oh, all right. Well, hold on. Before I comment on that, because I think everything is clickbait. Everything in the world wants you to click it. Jasmine Burns. Sorry. Jasmine Burns. I'm sorry. My Ohio State board's in the other room. April 4th, April 5th, Ohio State at UCLA. Jasmine Burns. Jaden, Lauren, Jasmine. Sorry.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry, Buckeyes. Sorry, Jazz. I met her parents in Clearwater. They were so nice. That's my bad. Burns family, we love you. Hi, Candy K.
Sonny, when we used to make errors at UCLA, we would just say in practice or in a game, you say my bad, 2 outs, even if there wasn't 2 outs. It was like what you said. It's like you made an error and you like owned it and you're like, my bad, 2 outs. But sometimes there wasn't 2 outs, but you still said my bad, 2 outs because that like flushed your mistake. So you could just say my bad, 2 outs.
Yeah. Anything else from the weekend? Or are you ready to talk?
You're not going to say
25?
It?
What?
You're not gonna say my bad, 2 outs.
Oh, I did. Just like with my hand.
Oh, but say my bad, 2 outs.
My bad, 2 outs.
There.
I apologize to her family already. I think I'm good.
Oh, okay. Oregon taking 2 at Washington, and ASU got my eyes on those Sun Devils. Kinsey Brown, she's chucking it in the circle.
I think she had 19 strikeouts in the 2 games against UCF she pitched in.
Whew. And last one, I know because we got to get to the top 25. Troy taking the series against Coastal Carolina. Alyssa Faircloth. I know that was that was a good series. See, Amanda, my bad, 2 outs. She knows. So again, Troy taking that series. See, she's got it against a red hot Coastal Carolina team who would beat South Carolina in that midweek. Those are my notes, and anything that we've forgotten, put it up in the chat so we can flash it up here if we have some time.
Marshall ends the streak for the Raging Cajuns in the Sun Belt. Shout out to my girl Bub Faringa, the winning pitcher in both victories for the Herd. Well done. Proud of you, Bubby. All right, I will also use Coastal Carolina as a transition because dadgummit, Shantz, you were going to be in. You were going to be in the top 25.
I got my eye on them. When I see them up on the ESPN, they always get a box.
Yeah.
Just fun to watch. Like, I just really love watching that team. I know it was a tough weekend, but just huge fan.
I had them in until Sunday, and then they lost to Troy. So that leads to our top 25 discussion. Now, Tara, before I read the current top 10, if the people want to continue the discussion, where do they go?
Oh, yeah. Head on over to the discussion board. Oh, that's where the real stuff happens. And it's over on on3.com/softball. We've got the top 25 up over there and just having a nice discussion over there rather than on Twitter because it gets or X, it gets a little bit spicy over there. I feel like it's a little bit more civilized on the discussion board for now. So we'll see. Head on over to the site and have a nice chat with us.
We keep inviting people, so you never know how it's going to deteriorate. We'll see. We hope all of you come. I would love to continue to chat. I'll post my ballot on there like I do every week. And real quick, before we get to the top 25, great pull from Seth. Austin P, 22-game win streak. Shout out to the Govs. My buddy Caleb Toshkoff on staff up there. Shout out to Austin P. Katie Raper, transfer from NC State, one of our summer leaguers. She's been flashing the power this year. So well done, Austin P. Hello, Governors. Had to do it. Okay.
And we'll
Send in. Here we go. All right. Send in your questions about the top 25. Here's the top 10. Number 1, Texas. I'm sure everyone will be cool with it. Number 2, Oklahoma. 3, LSU. 4, Florida. 5, UCLA. 6, Texas A&M. 7, Arizona. 8, Oregon. 9, Tennessee. 10, Florida State. A couple big movers as I look and try and do this in my head. Virginia Tech up 4 spots to number 15. Duke down 4 to number 17. And Ohio State, FAU, and Cal now in the rankings at 22, 23, and 25, respectively. So, Tara, anything you want to say before we get to some of the questions?
I know we've got the burning question of number 1 and number 2. I don't see it on the chat, but just so everybody knows, Gray voted, and again this week voted OU number 1.
It was much closer this time because of Texas, but I only had 2 games of data to go off of, so that kind of made it hard for me to do the flip. But
yes,
I do have Oklahoma number 1 in my ballot.
Yes, he does.
Let everyone
so
know.
Don't get on Gray. And I know that apparently Plank wasn't happy with us on X, but I had a nice chat with Plank. It's okay. We don't agree. Like, it's okay to not agree on things, and that's okay. I just thought that the clip was cut at a very, interesting time, and Gray had given love to Audrey Lowry, and that's okay. But again,
and
I think Texas is the number 1 team in the country. And
we're cool. We're cool with Plank, by the way. I was sending him Fayetteville restaurant recommendations. Like, everything is fine. I saw somebody pop up. There's no beef with Plank. There's no. Why is everyone obsessed with beef? Why everyone wants there to be beef? There's very rarely ever actual beef. No one's mad at anybody. You can have disagreements,
I'm gonna pull up a picture
fine.
from like 5 years ago of me, Plank, and Patrick Dunn, former SID at OU. I think I saw probably 15 of OU's first games that year. I was on the Sooners travel team almost, I felt like. So just want to clear that up.
Oh, here's a question. This is a good one from Lauren. Not really a question, but kind of a statement. I can't believe you all dropped Nebraska. I'm fine with it, but it felt abrupt. Ha ha. I will say this, just a little behind the curtain. Nebraska was tied voting wise for 25th. But Cal was on more ballots, so that is why Cal got the 25 spot.
I kind of felt like it was a little bit abrupt too, Lauren. And then somebody just wrote an article saying South America dropped, or Mirren just wrote an article saying South America dropped Nebraska out, and I was like, whew, yeah, that does feel abrupt. I kind of agree with you, Lauren. They got a chance to get back in.
Yeah, everyone does. That we have so much time left. Like, there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking in this.
I'm just watching
25.
the chat. I love it. I think I just wish everybody could be on here with us. You know what I mean? Maybe we could do. Yes. Why?
Do you know how many screens that would be? Like, which one am I using? Thumbnails? How would we get that many people on? Isn't there like a max?
I just wish that we could bring the people that are in the chat. Maybe we can do that next week if somebody wants to jump on the podcast. One of the fans.
All right, here. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, chat. Thanks, y'all, but it's hard to keep up. Nicholas, how close was Arizona State to making the top 25? I had them on my long list. Tara?
Yeah, close. We had this discussion with Brady this past weekend. I was like, rank ASU, and they're close. They're just a little bit of concerns again with pitching. Anybody after Kinsey Brown. When Brown's in the circle, really, really tough to beat.
All right, let's see what else. Carol Luca was a midweek loss to Coastal, the reason for Carolina dropping despite the series win against Georgia. For me, it did. So I had South Carolina 10 last week. I had them at 13 in my ballot this week. It was more them getting past because, like we talked about, there were so many sweeps. It would, if you lost a game at all, you were probably taking a hit this week for the most part. I mean, basically everybody beyond the top six, everybody beyond the top six basically swept this weekend. And a lot of the top six teams did sweep. So if you took a loss, it was going to be really, really hard to keep your positioning, especially if it was a loss to an unranked team.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking back at my ballot. I think I just kept South Carolina at 10. I'm just trying to find my actual ballot. Pretty sure I did. I think that's a wash there. I think that's a big gritty series win for the Gamecocks against Georgia. I know that midweek loss, but we almost felt like Coastal was going to come there and snipe them. And I've been talking a lot about Coastal. And for me, I still think South Carolina on my ballot stayed at number 10, but obviously we've got other voters.
All right, I'm trying to track. Also, yes, this felt like a trap weekend for South Carolina after all the emotion of OU. Shout out to them for winning that series against Georgia. It felt dangerous. Derek, answer me one question. How can you not give OU the same benefit of a doubt when Landry didn't pitch, but when Florida's pitcher didn't pitch and they lose, they prove something? So for me, I'm a stand on business. I'm gonna say my thoughts as I always do. Winning on the road against a top 5 team without your ace is, in my eyes, more impressive than winning a home series against a top 10 team without your ace. So I viewed Florida's performance against A&M more impressive without Rothrock than what Oklahoma did against South Carolina, because I have also more questions about South Carolina than I do about A&M. Now this week, I also said, full transparency, I wanted to see how Sam Landry could do against SEC teams going into this weekend, because at Louisiana, her ERA against SEC teams was well north of 5, and I believe she was 2-7. I sent the nugget to Amanda. I don't know if they used it on the show. I was on the air as well. This week, she showed me that she is ready for the SEC, because not only was she great in game 1, but she was also really, really hard to hit the other times that Arkansas saw her. So that helps answer a question about Oklahoma for me. So that's kind of where my thought process has been the last few weeks when talking about these missing aces for Oklahoma and Florida. I hope that makes some semblance of sense. It might not to some of you, it might to others.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Gray. I think. Oh, I love all these glasses comments. I'll have to. I mean, they have a little bit of a fade too. So thanks, guys. They are newer glasses. But when you look, for me, I know we talked about this last week. I really was impressed with Landry coming back in. And I think playing at home, like you said, Gray, playing at Love's Field, for those of you that haven't been to Love's Field, you must go. It is incredible. You need to go and watch a game there. I don't care when it is, but you've got to go and experience Love's Field, because there's something so incredibly special about it and just marks the progress of our sport. So I do think there's some home field advantage there. And I agree with you, Gray, playing at home and on the road. And for me, if Rothrock comes back for Florida, it's going to be huge. But I think, again, on the road is a lot tougher than playing at home.
All right, I'm trying to see if we should stay on this or go to a couple other questions, because there's a lot coming in. I like this from Brandon. Is it weird to feel like UCLA is getting overlooked? I don't disagree with the ranking, but they are so well balanced they could beat any team in front of them, in my opinion. Former Bruin, what do you think?
I don't think UCLA is getting overlooked. I think I watched a lot of the Bruins. I was at the Arizona UCLA game at Judy Garman. I don't think they're getting overlooked. I think they're just plugging along. And obviously in the Big Ten, I think Purdue gave them a couple scares this weekend. But again, good teams with good offenses and good pitching are going to pull through there. And I do think UCLA has a shot. And I do think when you've got Taylor Tinsley, Caitlin Terry, and Addison Fisher in the circle, that's going to help you a lot when you hit postseason. So we're talking a lot about some teams across the country that don't really have a number 2. And I think when you look at UCLA, you can argue that pitching staff is going to be pretty tough. Although I did watch Arizona, hit the ball at a yard and put up loads of runs against the Bruins. Again, I think that's going to be a really tough pitching staff to face in a series.
All right. Just real quick, I wanted to bring this up because there were a couple here. Yes, but Landry is being coached by Rocha, big difference. I mean, that was before Rocha. Troutwine also struggled before OU. Fair arguments all the way around. And I 100% respect how good of a pitching coach Jen Rocha is. But I wanted to see it. Tara, how often have we talked about this? I'm an evidence guy. Like, show me, and then I will buy in. But I can't, I got to see it. And I saw it this weekend. So shout out to Sam Landry and Jen Rocha. That's all I got.
I mean, let's be real. Jen Rocha's one of the best coaching or pitching coaches in the country. So yes, they get better. Pitchers get better when they go to Oklahoma. Full stop. That's evidence enough for me. Pitchers get better when they go to Oklahoma. True.
Oh, Amanda, does this mean you're calling Oklahoma Tennessee? Oh.
She's talking about the Aggies and Sidney Peters.
Is she talking about the Aggies or OU?
She's talking about Sidney Peters and the Aggies. That's what I just saw.
Oh, I'm still behind. I was trying to catch up. I'm trying to go. Boy, y'all are too fast. Da 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 da. Good nugget about Sidney Peters. If Roger does it,
there's a lot happening in the chat. I tried to pull it, but they're just too fast, which I love. Keep talking over there.
James,
preview the weekend. We have 3 minutes here.
Well, I think we're gonna go a little bit over if everybody keeps sending super chats. James, this season seems more wide open for teams to dethrone OU than the last few seasons. Maybe. The amount of sweeps are kind of telling me maybe there's more of a divide than we've thought this year. We'll see if that holds up, but there was a lot of separation this weekend between the top and the middle and bottom of conferences. So we'll see what that.
Gosh, the chat! Oh my goodness, I'm just.
Oh yes, okay. Amanda was talking about Sidney Peters, and she is calling OU Tennessee.
Okay, I love it. It is the job. I mean, I love that fans love softball. That's why I was being honest. I think it's incredible that everybody is this passionate about softball, and that is great. And that's what makes our sport great. I have no issue with that, at all. I love when fans advocate for their teams. It's important for the sport.
Yeah.
And you don't have to agree with me. That's the thing. It doesn't bother me if you agree or not. I feel pretty good about the softball world and what it's given to me and what I've been a part of. So I'm totally fine with it. And I love that there's debate. Just sometimes you don't have to get nasty about it. It's all right.
Right. I think it's okay to disagree. I try, and then we'll get to this weekend. I'm sorry we keep diving into this. I try not to be I don't want to be like a hot take artist. I don't want to just say
you
stuff.
were a hot take artist all week.
No, I don't know, but not really, not without evidence. I'm not going to just say stuff. This isn't First Take. I'm not out here just saying stuff. If I see the evidence to back up something, then I will utilize that to explain a point of view that I have. But that's it. None of us, it's not a hate thing. It's not personal. We're not going after anybody. I'm watching the games and reading the stats and talking to other people and watching film and figuring out what it all means. Brandon, one last super chat for Gray. I don't know why this is so fun. I think Mindy and bets make me smile. XOXO Gray. Olive Garden.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for the super chat, you guys. We appreciate it. Makes this fun. Also, that's Brady, everybody.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, Brady and I go back and forth literally every day. So, it's always fun.
Okay, real quick question for Tara. Are you and Jen ever going to call another game together? That was a lot of fun last time.
I'll have to talk to her. It's not on the schedule, but maybe. Well, I can just text her right now.
Do you see? Tara, were you in Dublin, Ireland in July 2023? I thought I saw you. Yeah?
Yes, I was there. I was there with Great Britain national team, Balbriggan. I was there.
Reconnecting 2 years later. I love it. Thank you, Terlinda.
First series or the pool games, or the World Cup pool games. It was pretty fun time there. Yeah, I was there.
Do we want to do a Duke question, or do we want to wait for Duke?
We gotta get to.
Okay, we'll talk about Duke when we look at what's coming this weekend. First, quick shout out to little midweek mayhem. Tuesday, Liberty at Duke twice, and then Wednesday, the two biggest games, unless there was something that moved or I missed it. Arizona at Grand Canyon, Florida State at Alabama. Should be a lot of fun. Anytime a Tide and the Noles get together, it's typically kind of chaotic. So all about that. That'll be at Rhodes this Wednesday night on SEC Network. I do believe Chucky Kempf and Michelle Smith will be on the call for that. Tom and I will have radio. Massive ACC series, Tara. Florida State at Duke.
Massive. That's a big series. I think we're going to see how, again, Duke responds, and really for Florida State to keep it rolling and get going. And I saw Florida State early on this past weekend. They had 8 home runs. So that offense is rolling. It's not just station to station. They're not manufacturing ones. They're hitting the ball out of the yard.
If I may, real quick, a couple of Florida State last 5 games stats, because I'm prepping for Wednesday. Janai Kerr hitting 714. Amaya Ross hitting 667. Kennedy Harp hitting 467. My girl Jay Beecham hitting 688. Michaela Edenfield hitting 455. That's all in the last 5 games.
Yeah, I have all that written, not in those numbers, but yes. Beecham, Ross, Kerr, Dak, Harp, Edenfield. That offense is going. So really impressed with the Noles.
And I am a little worried. I've seen a lot of the questions about Duke concerns about the offense. I'm more worried about Cassidy Curd. It's the Cassidy Curd struggle games have been happening a little bit more often since the Mary Nutter. And to her part, Danny Drugmuller has been pretty excellent when she's had to be. But if Duke wants to click, if Duke wants to win the ACC, if Duke wants to be a top 8 national seed, Cassidy Curd has got to be Cassidy Curd. And this weekend will be a great test against that Noles offense.
And I want to remind everybody that's on this chat, we're going to do a lot more synergy breakdowns, because I think it's really important for everyone to understand how much data there is on pitchers out there. And I do think at this point in time, our game, it's a hitter's advantage. And I think we're seeing basically your ability to take away part of the plate and really just hunt one side of the plate or hunt one speed or hunt one pitch. And I think that's what we're seeing a little bit. As you see more data on a pitcher, you're seeing, pitchers season in and season out. Those that are succeeding are reinventing kind of what they do. And that is a huge part of, I think, what we're seeing this shift. And I think that's a little bit of what's happening to Curd.
Yeah. A couple exciting out of conference series this weekend. Texas Tech, 3 games at South Carolina. We've already talked to Sam RIcketts about Mississippi State going to Northwestern. Let's go. This is fun.
Absolutely. I had the Texas Tech South Carolina series circled, thinking about heading out that way. I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to make it out there, but that one seems like a fun one. Good test for South Carolina's offense. Really, that's one I have circled and an exclamation as well.
I will make a bold prediction. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If South Carolina wins this series, I will be ready to say they're gonna host a regional this year, and I'll say it with confidence.
Wow. You think that also means the potential Women's College World Series in their first year?
Didn't say that.
Okay.
Didn't say that. But I think the resume will be in pretty good shape, because the conference slate after that, is not as insane as some of the other teams in the league. So if they can win the series against Texas Tech, I'm going to really love their position if I'm Ashley Chastain Woodard. Mississippi State Northwestern, it's going to be fun. Eat it up. Enjoy the snow if it snows. Enjoy Chicago. Do what you want. Get some pizza. And we'll see if Mississippi State. So something that Coach Ricketts told us on our call this week that I found really interesting, because this past week they lost that midweek to Middle Tennessee. And we talked to her the day after, and she said, yeah, like it's clear that when we bring the focus, we can go with anybody. And sometimes we don't quite get there. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. I'm sorry if I'm not directly quoting. My notebook's in the other room. Obviously, they brought the focus, partially my fault, this weekend in Tuscaloosa against Alabama.
Oh, come on. External motivation is not like, come on.
But my question is, can they bring that same mentality this weekend against Northwestern? Because we have seen when that mentality has not been there, lost to Middle Tennessee, lost to Northwestern State. There have been some puzzlers, got shut out by Jacksonville State. So can that be sustained? That's something I want to see, especially against Northwestern, who just swept the weekend in Oklahoma City. So they're going to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I think those two out of conference series, but I can't go to Texas Tech at South Carolina because I'm going to LSU at Georgia.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, I can't go out there. But who knows? You never know where I'm going to end up. But
let's go. Tarina, are you still here? Are you coming to Athens?
Nick's going to be mad at me. I'm headed out to Athens to see the Tigers at Georgia. And then you want to go to the others, Gray?
I'm trying to
Arkansas and Tennessee.
Well, this is Nick's last comment. New RPI is out. I was trying to find his Hello Kids chat that I didn't flash earlier. Hello, sir.
Arkansas at Tennessee.
Arkansas at Tennessee. I've already made my thoughts about Arkansas pretty clear. This will be a good test against Pickens and Marjetko. I liked what I saw from Robin Herron in spurts this weekend, and Tennessee's offense has been scoring when they have to, but not necessarily explosive, I would say. So
yeah, I think you and Brady are down on Tennessee's offense. I'm not.
I'm not down because they're doing what they have to do, But I kind of want to see what it looks like when Tennessee jumps out on somebody, because they really haven't this year. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Alabama and A&M, I will be there with Tom on the radio side. Tori Vidalis will be the analyst for the games on SC Network Plus. So lots of great coverage there. And Auburn at Texas. Auburn has lost now 7 in a row.
Tough slate. It's going to be a tough slate for the Tigers.
Yeah.
It's a tough schedule. And I think, obviously, heading out to Austin, it's going to be tough.
Amanda, all 3 Tennessee-Arkansas games. I think this series is interesting because it seems like we have a lot to find out about both teams. Agreed. 100% agreed. You heard it. So that's mic'd up Monday, right? I believe it is. Next week.
Next week? You would know better than me on that one.
Great. See, Amanda, I should have sent you the link. Carlin Pickens has been pitching under pressure a lot. It seems like every time I look up, she's pitching in a tie game or a 1-run game. Yes. And you know what that reminds me of? Reminds me of a lot of what Montana Fouts was doing in her senior season. That was happening a lot.
We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Ace is coming in pressure situations. Pickens is one of those. But Sage Marjetko, I think that was a nice pickup for the Vols. And I think she's got, some flashes of brilliance. And again, I think I'm really high on Tennessee right now, but Brady says it tends to happen with the teams that I watch in person. So I'm higher on Tennessee, I think, then.
I can't believe that you would be so biased towards teams you watch, Tara. That is so inappropriate.
No. Awesome. Well,
Amanda, I can send you a stat if you need it for next week. I'm sure I can find something if you need it for the Montana Carlin Pickens comparison. Tara, what's on the site right now on SA?
So much. ACC power rankings are up on the site. Obviously, the top 25 is there, and we'll have power rankings every morning of the week. and composite rankings, which come out on Wednesday from our buddy Jason Ray. Those are always really, really interesting. I love those pieces. And again, we'll have the stars of the week and lots for everybody to take a look at. Fang, just so you know, I sat down and watched the entire game yesterday, and I loved every minute of it. But I do need to see him in person. So the plan is to go out to Love's for the Texas OU series, everybody. So just so everybody knows, that is the plan. Go out to Love's for Texas OU.
I will also say this, and full knowing that there are like 2 Alabama fans in here and multiple Sooners. Alabama, Oklahoma single game tickets went on sale this morning. So if you want to come party at Rhodes with me, even if you're a Sooner, come on out. It's about a month away. And thank you, Derek. Softball American, pretty bad. I am a proud softball American. I will stand and salute the flag. Be great.
Fang, yes, we're going back to the Weather Center. Hopefully we'll have good weather this time.
Fang, I found out when we're coming to Norman, so I'll shoot you a text. Fang. That's
yeah, you gotta go see
not
Fang.
This year. I'm excited. It's been a minute since I've seen Fang. All right, real quick programming reminders. Other podcasts coming out this week. We got Sydney's Spin coming out this week. The Dirt this weekend. Maybe I'm live from Olive Garden. Maybe not. Depends on how long Florida State or Alabama goes. That'll be Wednesday night. New Out of the Box podcast will drop Wednesday morning. And Diamond in the South will come out Thursday. Jessica, will you be inviting Plank to the party, Gray?
Yes, of course. We love Plank.
He has to be here. It's his job. So, I don't even need to extend an invite. He's going to be at the Alabama-Oklahoma series per his job. We'll be we've been texting. We're going to get dinner. It's going to be great. Everything's fine.
Seth, please clip this and say, we love Plank.
Ah, man. Plank's my boy. He's come on out of the box. He will come on again. Plank, I have a date in mind. Stay tuned. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, last one. Cheyenne. Derek, my girl. Fang, no!
Yes, Fang. Yes. Also, Olive Garden, I think that for those that did not get caught up and at the top of the show, Gray is going to do a podcast live from Olive Garden because he's never been to Olive Garden. Never had soup salad and soup salad and breadsticks, or the tour of Italy. I can't wrap my head around that. I think I lived at Olive Garden in high school because one of our best friends was a waitress there. So we would have soup salad and breadsticks for I think $3.82, maybe $5.82, maybe.
Elijah, Gray will be in Norman with his team for regionals. No, I won't. You know why? Because an SEC team will not travel to an SEC team for regionals. We're all in the same conference, buddy. Don't forget about that. Okay, are we good? Is that anything?
We're good.
Anything else?
No, I'm good. If anybody has any questions, head on over to the site and get on that discussion board. We'll finish this discussion over there. Easy for me to say.
Yes, I will be posting my ballot. It'll be live and lit. Thank you to Samantha RIcketts for joining the show.
Oh, that was awesome. What a great
that
way
was
to start
fun.
the show.
That was fun. All love. It's not. Everyone calm down. Mississippi State players retweeting everything. I like all of you. I've covered many of you. I told your story this weekend. We're all good.
We didn't talk about Kylie Edwards and her glove skills at short.
Whew. How about the diving catch from Morgan Bernardini?
Oh, out of town.
Which was the sickest rollout I've had in my career. So shout out to her. That was pretty cool right at the end of the inning. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you to Samantha RIcketts. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to everybody tuning in. Tara, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
Yes. For Tara, I'm Gray. We'll see you next time on Good Morning Softball America.